Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, or the Theme Park Evangelist. Well, I had to turn on my subscribers mode only for any kind of messages. I seem to have people that think it's funny to spam my YouTube videos with um, inappropriate content. I'm sure links to like pornography websites, and that stuff does not belong on my YouTube channel, especially considering it's a Christian YouTube channel. So I've been blocking YouTubers from doing that, and I've been also deleting those comments right away because, yeah, I don't want anybody to see that. I want to first of all welcome my good friend, close friend Brian, that I used to work with at the Ark Encounter, to my YouTube channel. He just subscribed to my YouTube channel just now, and I'm very happy to have another subscriber. I decided to start this live stream in my parents' bedroom. I know, weird, right? But I really want to make sure the laptop was put down on a flat surface so I could focus better, and so people could really see my facial expressions and stuff like that. There's a reason why I'm doing this YouTube video, and due to recent events, certain people I know, mainly from the Ark, have been mentioning to me that they don't think I'm a Christian, or they don't think that I'm genuinely saved. And it's been really getting me discouraged and almost depressed. And I just wanted to take, some time to talk about what's been going on with me personally over the past year. This is going to be one of those weird YouTube videos when I don't mind being a little bit more open. And the nice thing about my faith, mainly discussion based topics, is the fact that this is like the perfect opportunity to find out more about my personal life and all that stuff. Typically, I don't talk about that kind of stuff, especially when I'm in Central Florida and I'm just really focused on making sure that everybody gets to see all the cool stuff that's going on at the theme parks and all that fun stuff. So I'm definitely wanting to take this opportunity to go over my personal life. But yeah, if you are subscribed to my YouTube channel and you would like to message me on the right while I'm filming live, you may. Or you can comment after my video, and at that point, it's open to the public. And unfortunately, yes, I will have to go delete those pornography website links that people like to leave on my YouTube channel. So, without further ado, I'm going to make it a little darker in here since there's too much sun that's shining down my face and making me look really bright. Ah, that's much better. Let's get into it. So, last year, actually, around this time, I was still working at Meijer, and I had been there since July of 2019. And things were just not going well. I was really starting to lose my confidence in Meijer. I was really starting to lose my patience. Things were just not going well. It wasn't the same place that I had started at about a year or so prior to like last January, I guess is the best way to put it. And I knew that it was time for me to move on. I have been trying to get into, or well, I should say, I have been trying to get into Answers in Genesis, or the Ark Encounter, since 2019 or so. And I just personally was getting a little discouraged, but at the same time, I knew that God had a reason for me to move there or work there. Everybody who has gotten a job at the Ark or the Creation Museum, including my good friend that I used to work with, Lord willing, is watching right now. He is one of those people that God just worked it out that he could get into the Ark Encounter. He told me the story himself, but that's not for. I mean, it's not really my place to share his story unless he gives me permission. But I'm just using him as another example. It's not always about me. I mean, sometimes I come across that way due to my disabilities, and that's one of the biggest reasons why people might also consider me to not be saved. So that's another thing I wanted to go over. As far as how long I'm going to be doing this for, was asked that question a little bit ago. I'm not sure. Just kind of discussing what's on my heart right now. I don't even mind if it takes an hour. If it takes an hour, then oh well. I mean, you can watch as much or as little as you want. Any of you who come across this video. But anyway, I wanted to transfer to produce at Meyer, and they flat out said no. They said I had to stay in service department. Well, I'm kind of going through that similar situation right now in a way, but not to the extreme that I had it a year ago. So I got really frustrated. Well, February came around, and the hiring event for the Ark Encounter was coming up. Well, I knew about it in advance, so I requested just to work the morning. I figured I would get there in the mid-afternoon and get there just before the hiring event ended. It was early last year for whatever reason, I guess because of the fact that they lost so many people when they were all laid off due to COVID, versus this year it's a little later since nobody got laid off. I mean, well, maybe temporarily, but only for the winter. And not even every single person got laid off either. And it's not that they didn't want anybody to be there during the winter. It's just called they only can afford to have so many people there during the winter, if that makes sense. But I was like, man, I really, really want to get into the Ark Encounter. So not only did I request to work that morning, but I had been praying and thinking about it for quite some time. I was like, all right, God, this is it. This is my third attempt. Not even kidding. I am determined to go. I felt like something was right about this year, or that, well, referring to last year. That's how I felt at the current time. I really felt like this was going to be it. This was going to be the for sure. This is going to help me get in. And I was willing to, call out, as I said, just to be able to go. Well, it was on Wednesday, February 17th, 2021. It's sad that I actually remember that date specifically. And I got closer and closer. I got more and more nervous. And then finally the request got approved. I was so blessed. I was working 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., something like that. And I immediately jumped in my car, put on some Newsboys, the old Newsboys from the 90s or whatever, and I drove down to Williamstown. I got there, and I was dressed up really nice. I brought a change of clothes with me. I mean, at least a shirt. I kept my work pants on. And I had spoken to my dad about meeting with his former boss, Jerry. And I was like, well, I mean, it can't hurt to talk to him. But, man, I was like determined to get into guest services. Well, I ended up getting hired by Jerry in culinary. And to be honest, I was not expecting to be hired on the spot. What I was expecting was to talk to somebody and go, well, we'll consider you. We'll call you back or something like that in a few weeks. And then I was either going to get a yes or a no. But I still felt like something good was going to come out of it. But when I started signing the paperwork, my jaw not only dropped, but I started crying. I really felt like God really wanted me to be there. And I was beyond overwhelmed. Well, let's fast forward a little bit more. So I started working at both Meyer and the Ark Encounter. Well, things with Meyer were getting worse, unfortunately. I was being cussed out constantly. I was being yelled at. I've been bullied since the eighth grade. Sorry, the fourth grade. Wow, I apologize. The fourth grade. So since I was 8 years old, that's about 20 years I've been bullied for. And you would think, I'm an adult now. It's going to end. Nope, it does not end. It's one of those things. There are going to be people out there that are determined to make me feel pathetic inside. I mean, that's why there are people that are intentionally targeting my YouTube channel with pornography links, either because they can't stand the fact that I'm a Christian or the fact that I'm autistic. I don't know, could be both. And you know what? Can't let it, ruin your life. You just have to move on, delete the comment, ignore those people, and move on. And that's how I felt when I was working at Meyer. I mean, I was getting really depressed. And without giving you guys too much personal information about what happened, let's just put it this way: God worked something out so that I could leave Meyer. It was not an easy decision. It involved leaving a full-time job. A lot of my worldly family and friends, and even my own parents, were against the idea. They were like, there is no way that we're going to be okay with you quitting a full-time job. You're an idiot. I mean, I wouldn't say my parents called me an idiot, but there were people like extended worldly family that were like, you're an idiot for leaving a full-time job. I mean, I don't care. I was over it. I would rather leave a full-time job, or I'm so depressed that I cannot stand anymore. I was literally going on my breaks or even cleaning the store and just bawling my eyes out because I was so depressed. I was taking in all this constant foul language thrown at me and harassment and stuff like that. One time, not even kidding, I called and asked, hey, do you know when someone's going to come and relieve me? I've been standing there for about 15 minutes. I don't usually care if people keep me waiting at work an extra 15 minutes past my scheduled time, unless there's something drastic that's going on in my life or just that particular day, I could even say, that I absolutely have to get to. And I got cussed out for it. The coroner basically said to me, I can't exactly pull coroners out of my A. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, well, excuse me. I'm thinking in my mind. And if she said it just like that, I can't exactly pull employees out of my A. So, you have to give me a couple of minutes. And, I heard this all over the phone. And I'm just like, what in the world? And I could even go back further into the previous years, why I'm still struggling. But I will get to that later. So anyway, I finally got out of Meyer. It was the greatest feeling in the world. And things started to get better. But then I noticed that the people I was working with, certain people were a little more pushy than others. They're really wanting me to come out of my shell like that. And it does not work on an autistic person to just come out of their shell just like that. And I was like, yeah, you're going to have to give me a little more time. I'm sorry. I mean, I understand where they're coming from. These people on the Ark really care. They genuinely do. And that's why I'm trying to be more open with them. Sometimes they might jump to conclusions on certain things, but that doesn't mean they're horrible people. I mean, come on, how many Christians have you come across in your lifetime that honestly came up to you, had a conversation with you, or you knew them long enough, and then they went up to you and said, I don't know if you're truly saved or not? I'm not even kidding. I mean, outside of work, I'm sure that if I can think about it long enough, that there have been people over the years in my life that have doubted whether I'm truly saved or not, just because of my lifestyle away from family. When that kind of time when you're by yourself or you're with your worldly friends or whatever, and you think that nobody's watching, even though God's always watching. That's what I'm talking about. So that's another reason why I'm trying to lead up to that. So to now that you guys kind of have an understanding of the fact that yes, I do have people that genuinely care about me at the Ark and want me to get more involved in their lives. I've even had my boss go out of his way to try to get me more involved with them because he wants me to spend more time with Christian friends. So let's go back a number of years to help you guys understand why I'm really discouraged. And I'm not blaming any company for anything that's happened. It's not the company's fault. There was just a particular person that did not belong in that position, and that's all there comes down to it. And that person has an attitude problem. My very first boss was a very patient man with me, even though I did find out at the end he did only hire me as a favor to my mother, which pretty much told me he never really wanted me in the first place. I get it. Who wants an autistic person working for them? And usually with certain jobs or just jobs in general, there is a lot of favoritism out there. And I saw that a lot at my first job. I'm not even kidding. Certain people, my boss favored more than others. Other people, my boss just kind of talked to when it was convenient to him, but otherwise, he really didn't want anything to do with you. There were a couple of times that he talked to me, and I really wish I had recorded his conversation, but I know that's also against not just company policy, but your privacy rights and who knows what. I mean, it's a huge violation for me to do that. Sure, what he did was wrong, but it would have been even more wrong for me to record his conversations, even though it was very tempted. And the one thing I noticed over the years that had become an ongoing problem was you're a problem, you're a problem, you're a problem, you're a problem. I'm not even kidding. So, my very first job, I was trying to get out of the particular store I was at. And my boss, I guess, found out from another store manager that I was potentially harassing another manager to get transferred. The answer is a lie, or that is a lie, I should say. The answer is what really happened was I was calling up a couple of different stores in the area looking for a transfer, asking very politely, kindly, hey, do you have anything open? The very first time I called up a store, I got a hold of the grocery manager, and the second time I actually got a hold of the store manager, and I apologized. I never actually went over there, which is another lie that my boss was fed at the time. He was fed that I physically actually went over there and harassed him. So my boss threatened to either have me fired, make me quit, transfer, or I could shut up and stop being a problem. Those were his exact words. And ever since that boss, I've been very, very careful to always try to do the right thing. I know it's easy for the people at the Ark to say, "Well, forget about that." It's like I appreciate what you're saying. I know that with life, we have to keep moving forward. We have to keep going to God anytime that life sucks and you just want an improvement. I know that anytime we're going through any kind of depression or whatever, that we're supposed to go to God no matter what. And, it's easier said than done, really. I mean, how many times have you personally in your life wanted to just say, yeah, I'll just go to God and that'll solve all my problems? And I bet you that a lot of us would agree that going to God doesn't feel like it's going to solve all the problems. You could be dealing with marriage issues. You could be dealing with a rebellious kid. You could have a kid that's having, major disabilities that's in a school where he or she is not being treated right. You could even be a Christian and have someone close to you that refuses to see life through the same lens that you have, even though you are like ridiculously close, and it's hurting your friendship. There are so many possibilities of issues that people can have, and the answer I always seem to get every single time that I'm depressed: go to God. God's going to solve all your problems. That kind of thing. And I really wish it were that easy to always, think that. I really do. I really wish that every single time I'm depressed that I could just say I'm going to go to God. And my job at Disney, I'm going to skip over Steak and Shake just because there really wasn't anything good or even bad that happened at that place that happened to me. It was just a really crappy environment. I guess that's the best way to put it. And I honestly love Disney. I made a very bad decision around the end of 2018. I was getting impatient. I wanted to get out of Tomorrowland Speedway ASAP. I was willing to transfer somewhere where I may or may not be treated right. The people at Tomorrowland Speedway, just the people of Tomorrowland, were very, very good to me. I had built up a strong friendship with everybody. There was a very laid-back environment, and they were taking excellent care of me. So it's not Disney's fault what happened. I decided on my own I was going to transfer over to Toy Story Land Attractions. Well, things were going pretty well, but what I did not realize was how bad the management was there. Nor did I realize that there was a lot of favoritism there. Oh, there's that word again. So somebody must have found out I had autism. I don't know how, or the manager got snoopy and decided to go through my personal stuff, and I don't know how, but... And he found out I had autism. Well, he was determined to get rid of me. There was an incident that happened while I was working at Alien Swirling Saucers. And what happened was I was operating the ride, and I went to close the gates, and somebody shut off the air pressure to Slinky Dog, which is also interconnected to Alien Swirling Saucers. I don't know if that was a setup or if it was an accident or just pure coincidence. Only God knows. Anyways, what ended up happening was I stayed right where I was until my replacement came, put the receipt paper down on the ride podium, which basically signified I am now in control of this ride. That means referring to that person that took over, not me anymore. And nobody saw it. I was the only one that saw it. And at that point, I knew I was free to leave. Well, I still wanted to stay there regardless in case something happened. Well, maintenance came around to go and see what was wrong with the ride. I accidentally sent him to the wrong side. And I realized my mistake right away. And I jumped out. But I knew in the back of my mind that I was doing the right thing because I was no longer in charge of the ride. Well, somebody watched me do it and decided to report me to that manager and made up this wild, crazy story that I abandoned the ride that I was in charge of. And it got me written up. And you think that it's over? There was another time when I was doing seatbelt checks for Alien Swirling Saucers, and I was doing 12-hour days. So it's not like I had it easy. Plus, I was in college, and I was working at Publix. I had a lot going on, and it's easy for a manager to think that you always need to come to work wide awake and alert, but that's not always easy. And I do get tired easily. I will not deny it, especially since I have a weight problem. But anyway, I'm doing my seatbelt checks, and I came across 3 Chinese Asian teenagers, 2 guys and a girl, and they looked like they were probably 12 or so. I didn't honestly realize they were a lot older than that. And I was so tired. I was just kind of going through the motions. You know how that is. And somebody saw my mistake. She easily could have called me up before we started the ride, because it takes me and one other person to start up the ride if you are operating the ride. And the other person could have easily held off on pressing the button and gave me a call. Hey, go and check such and such rocket number. You accidentally overlooked something. And I would have, been trying to figure out what it was. And I would have realized my mistake. I would have gone and fixed it. And, problems would have been solved. But she called up the manager and told them what happened. The manager actually told her to ignore it. And she called me about halfway through the ride. I think that's what he had told her to do. And at that point, I realized my mistake. Well, I kind of did, but I was so tired, I just didn't really notice. And I was like, what? So I could have e-stopped it, and she could have e-stopped it, which is a short term for emergency, stop the ride. I didn't really know what to do, and she chose not to. And the manager basically said, just keep the ride going. I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to make him look like the guilty one. So that was my second write-up. Well, he made up this wild, crazy story that he was going to put me in a less safety critical area. And I must have accidentally spoon-fed him bad information, because I was the one that said to him, I don't have a problem with transferring somewhere. I just don't want to go to custodial. That's all I could ask. And that must have given him a really crazy idea. Oh, that gives me a good idea. Let's put him over in custodial. So he called up the Walt Disney World Casting Center and said that I'm going to put this guy over in custodial. And I want him to be stuck there for an entire year. He rigged the entire system so I could not leave unless I quit for a year. And I spent the next month trying to learn custodial, work at Publix, work on college, and fight this situation that was going on, both situations. Well, I did finally clear my record card. I did find out all that information. That's why I got it cleared. And of course, the union representative was on the manager's side. I'm not shocked by that by any means. And I found out from a good friend of mine at the time who was fighting on my behalf. He said behind my back one day, people with disabilities don't deserve to operate rides. Once again, I get it. People with disabilities are looked at as idiots, retarded, stupid. And it's not like it's anything new to me. I've been treated like an outcast since I was 8 years old. And I've honestly been told so many times over the years, oh, we don't have a problem with you. And, my first boss I could even say that with. And even that manager, a lot of the time they're lying to you because they don't want you to feel bad. And then they do stuff behind your back. And that's why I have such a major trust issue now, because of the fact that people have literally treated me so badly over the years and ruined my trust, done stuff behind my back so many times to the point where how can I trust anybody anymore? You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Hold on. But that's why I literally do have such a hard time trusting people. It's not that I don't want to trust people. I want to trust the people at the Ark more. I really do. I wanted to use those two examples, or strong examples, to really help you guys understand where I'm coming from. Yes, I've told the people at the Ark, and the answer I always get is, it's in the past, don't worry about it, move on. I've been struggling with forgetting the past since I was very young. There's a lot of things that I've done in my life that I regret. And I know everybody thinks that. Everybody has something they regret. I don't know how everybody else goes through life without, that guilty conscience dragging on them everywhere they go and throughout their whole life. I wish I hadn't done this. I wish I hadn't done this. I wish I hadn't done this. I don't know. That is the biggest problem I have. I feel like I will not be happy unless any of that bad stuff happened. But at the same time, I know that's not how God intended life. God intended for those things to happen in life so you will learn from experience, so you won't do it again. So what did I learn from working at Publix? That there are people out there who pretend to like you when they don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Disney. What did I learn from that? I learned that you can't always trust people. But that doesn't mean that, everybody out there is bad. And that's something I'm having a hard time trying to get myself to understand. And I thought I could trust my first boss, and I found out that he was pretending for 6.5 years. I mean, there are other instances, but the point is, it's easy to tell somebody to forget your past than it is to actually try to forget your past. And that's why I have the hardest time being open. And that kind of leads me to the conclusion, which is, so, like, what am I doing that makes the people at the Ark think that I'm not saved? I plan on spending another 10 minutes or so on this part, and then I'll be done. So, as far as how do I get that impression that I'm not saved? So, I'm not very open because of all those issues or those two major issues that I mentioned. And, that's just the beginning. I've been bullied for 20 years. I had a lady at Meyer about a year or two ago say, how can someone be so idiotic or so stupid that he couldn't even hear me ask for cash back on a check? Something to that extent. And my friend literally stood up for me. And I went out of my way to tell her how much I appreciated her doing that. But in some ways, I wish she hadn't told me, because that just is a painful reminder that I'm always going to be treated badly no matter what. I mean, yeah, there are going to be people at the Ark that, genuinely do care about me and that want the best for me and are 100% real on everything they say, but they're not going to be able to stop the bullies. I mean, as soon as I leave the Ark, I go back out into the real world. Where are they going to be when I'm at the grocery store, I'm at the gas station, and somebody decides to cuss me out? I got cussed out one time because I was stopping to give money to a homeless man, a genuine homeless man. And the guy cussed me out because he thought it was more important for him to do his thing than it was for me to help somebody in more need. And you know what surprised me the most about that? The homeless man stood up for me right in front of that guy, and that guy got mad. And it really hit me hard that day, because I realized if you do something really nice for somebody, you never know how they're going to respond. Like that homeless man, he stood up for me because I went out of my way to do something for him. Nobody asked me to. I chose to on my own. And I didn't do it because I'm trying to earn my way into heaven. There's no earning your way into heaven. It's called, as a Christian, I know that we are called to help one another, especially those who are in more need than others. And I, may come across as, quiet, shy, closed off when I'm at work. And it's just because of the fact that I've had so many bad experiences at work that it's hard for me to be open. Not to mention, I get so focused on what I'm doing that sometimes I just don't want to always be open. And I've been avoiding this thing called tea time lately on Saturday nights because of the fact that I just personally don't feel like they want me around. I've accidentally thrown a couple of people I know from the Ark under the bus. And it's not that I intentionally go out of my way to do it. Like I intentionally put in my heart that I'm determined to ruin this person's life. It just all happens by accident. What I think is the right thing to do is not actually the right thing to do. A lot of that has to do with my autism again. I think that I'm doing the right thing, but I'm not. And that's also been making it a lot harder for me to want to go on these outreaches, even this camping trip I was supposed to be at. Yes, I do need to do homework. That is the number one priority. That's the main reason why I'm staying home. But there's more to it than that. And it's because of the fact that I don't think that they want to be around somebody who goes behind their backs and chews them out and, says stuff that they don't agree with. That's why I've been distancing myself from people at the Ark, because I want them to live their lives normally. In some ways, I feel like it would have been better off if they didn't know me. And in some ways, that's kind of why I want to transfer out of culinary, because they don't need somebody like that is always depressed, has all these problems that they've been dealing with, that likes to go behind their backs and make them, look bad or whatever. I'm not saying that they don't agree with me, because they don't, because they're genuine Christians that I work with. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody at the Ark is a genuine Christian, but that's between, them and God. I will not, tell you guys or tell anybody, what are the requirements to work for Answers in Genesis. All I can tell you is, yes, you are supposed to be a Christian. Yes, you need to believe in God, and so on and so forth. But that's as far as I'm going. There is just too much information I know about Answers in Genesis that I don't want to put out there, because there are people out there that are determined to hurt Answers in Genesis, like the atheists. And that is not what I want. So, but what I do want is for my friends at the Ark to understand that I don't avoid them. That I shouldn't say that. I don't avoid them because I can't stand them. I don't avoid them because I don't trust them. I love my friends at the Ark. I trust them wholeheartedly. I'm worried that they don't trust me as much. And there's not everybody at the Ark I can be 100% open and real around. And that also makes it very challenging for me to go. And as far as why don't I always want to go on outings? Because as I said, I don't want to be around people that I've wronged. And I know that the right answer to that situation there, or that problem, is to, just apologize, do your absolute best to not do it again. Apologize to God, especially, and pray that He'll help you not do it again. I know that could solve my problems, but when I've been literally treated like crap all of the time, I mean, I could go back over years and years of times when people used me or took advantage of me, pretended to be my friend, or decided, well, David's not worth it to me anymore because I don't like this about him, or I don't know if I want to be friends with someone with disabilities. And I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I can't make everybody like me. I can't make everybody understand me. I want people to understand me. I do confusing stuff all of the time. It's one of those things. It is what it is. I promise I am almost done. That's kind of why I'm wrapping up. So I guess the best way to officially end this is I'm going to kind of put this into different topics. First of all, I want people to understand that I had a rough past. I just heard from one of my assistant managers what a rough past she had. I want her to know that I understand where she's coming from, because I've been there. No, I didn't do anything to the extreme like she did, but I still had a rough past. The other thing I want people to understand about me is I do trust and care very much about the people I work with at the Ark, or work for at the Ark. wholeheartedly. It's because of my autism that it makes it hard for me to always be open. Third, I would like everybody to know that I'm more worried about people. Well, how should I put this? I'm more worried that people won't judge, will not understand me, and I'm also worried that like people will judge me because of certain actions that I've done or certain things that I've done. So I'm more worried that I need to avoid those people because I personally feel in my heart that it's not a good idea for someone who's wronged someone so many times to even continue to expose myself to them. I feel like all I'm doing is causing problems. Why do I hang out with TJ and K so much? Because of the fact that they've known me for so many years. I've wronged TJ so many times, but at the same time, I've known him for so long that I know that we're just going to work it out again anyway. It's harder for me to have that mindset with someone I've known for a year versus someone I've known for, say, 7 years like TJ or 10 years like Kay. That's a lot easier for me to figure out. Plus, when I'm at work, which is reason number 4, when I'm at work for whatever reason, I'm not overly big about talking. I've pretty much been like this at a lot of my jobs. I like to talk. I would say at Publix, I was very laid back. It depends on the environment. If you come and visit me while I'm like working on deck 1, deck 2, or deck 3, and it's a really quiet day, you'll get a great conversation out of me. I can really talk, but if I'm in the kitchen and there's a lot going on, I'm not going to really want to talk a lot. So environment even affects whether I may want to talk or not. And it also depends on what's going on. Like right now, there's a lot going on with my dad that I'm worried about. And, and I come into work with that, and I've been trying to hide all of my problems because I know that the ARC doesn't really like negativity. They only like positivity. So I've been trying to hide that whenever I come into work. So I'm like, well, I might as well, talk about this kind of stuff outside of work, or I'll talk to my personal friends. And once again, it's back to that trust issue. I don't know how many people at work I can trust. It's not that they don't trust me, it's I don't know if I can trust them at that point with everything that's going on with my life right now. Just been a lot of ups and downs since I've moved to Kentucky, and it's just one of those things. And, part of me wants to go back to Florida. Yeah, I had a lot of issues there too, but I also had the theme parks. I hate to say this, but alcohol and TJ, K, all that kind of stuff to distract me from what was actually going on. Anytime I got depressed back in Florida, I would run to one of those problems or any of those problems to solve everything. And it was a happy, go feeling that would be good at the time, but it wasn't a permanent thing. And now that I'm in Kentucky, I don't exactly have those happy go feeling things to run back to every single time I get depressed. And I think that's also why I'm a little more anxious to go back to Florida right now, because I want that happy, feeling in my life, at least for a week. I just want to go back to a lifestyle, even for a week, where I had no problems and no cares, no responsibilities, where I could be away from the people at the ARC. Not that, once again, they're bothering me. It's all right. I'm worried that I'm bothering them. And that's why I'm so determined and so anxious to go back to Florida this year, because I think they need a break from me. Even though it's, all lies in my head, it's hard for me to tell myself it's a lie. Even though I've been told so many times, it's a lie, David, it's a lie. I still cannot fully convince myself that. And I feel like a week away, or them having a week away from me, will really help. Well, I really pray and hope that I was able to clear up any confusion as far as whether I am a Christian. Well, I was born in a Christian home. I attended church my whole entire life. I became a Christian when I was 8 years old, and I became a Christian because of the fact that I tried to partaking in the Lord's Supper, and my two closest friends at the time said no. And I knew right then and there something was wrong. I was determined to find out, and I did. And I did end up going to VBS willingly. Nobody even made me go that summer. And it was day 3, the day when we talk about admit to God you're a sinner, believe that Jesus is the Son of God, and confess your sins to God so you can live forevermore. That's when it hit me the hardest. And that's when I decided that night I want to give my life to Christ. And gradually over the next 4 years, 5 years or so, I started growing in my faith. And then God called me to be in the ministry in 2006 when I first got to middle school. I remember that feeling very well. And over the years, I've gradually grown more and more in God's word. And when I originally started this YouTube channel, it was mainly to talk about theme parks and stuff like that. But as I start growing more in God's word, I've turned my YouTube channel not just into a YouTube channel to talk about theme parks, but to discuss my faith and anything going on in my personal life to encourage people. And, I always pray and hope that my YouTube channel will help lead people to Christ. And I'm hoping and praying that my personal testimonies that I've been sharing on my YouTube channel for the past 6 years will be a huge encouragement to people and will hopefully make them want to find out more about God. If you want to learn more about God, please leave a comment below. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and type right now what I mainly talked about today. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to go over type the entire 47 minutes or so. I'm just going to put down the Roman numeral 1 was I spoke first about how I got into answers in Genesis. And then Roman numeral 2, I spoke about how Meyer was making me depressed. Roman numeral 3, I recapped crappy moments in my past that are affecting my trust with people these days. Roman numeral 4, I started my conclusion by answering how, hold on, I come across to people as a potentially unsaved person. And then finally, Roman numeral 5, I reassured everyone that I am a genuine Christian, shared my testimony again briefly, which you can actually look it up on my YouTube channel. It's under my faith, mainly discussion-based topics playlist, and you'll find it there. And anyway, share my testimony again briefly, and recapped the entire YouTube video in roughly 5 to 10 minutes. And that's it. So, with that being said, I once again pray and hope that I was an encouragement to everybody, and hopefully I did clear up the air of any questions that people had about my faith, whether I actually am a Christian or not. Once again, if you have any questions for me, please comment them below. I do have a Facebook page. It's called facebook.com/the theme park evangelist. In fact, I'll put that down right now. http://www.facebook.com/ let me make sure I'm doing that right. Yep. The theme park evangelist. And there you go. And now you can look up my YouTube channel anytime you want. Well, my YouTube channel, Facebook page. I post on there every single day. I post so many cool articles. All my YouTube videos go directly to there. And you can message me there. I'm very responsive of my messages. Please don't message me unless, it's appropriate. If you're going to message me cuss words or call me an idiot and stuff like that, not only are you going to make me depressed, but I'm also going to ignore you. So, Christian, family-friendly, appropriate comments and messages only. Anything inappropriate will not only get deleted, but ignored. And, I pray that God will touch your life. I know you're probably thinking in the back of your mind, oh, I'll be praying for you too. And I know you're just, saying that because you feel like you're, all that. But when I say I'll pray for you, I genuinely mean it. I will pray for you. Most of the time I get that kind of comment. It's a sarcastic, snappy kind of comment. All right, I'm going to shut up now, and I will see you guys in the next vlog. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great day. Peace out. And thank you so much for anybody who watched the entire 52 minutes of my live stream. Have a great day.